I just opened up one of the doors. Hopefully the signal gets out a little bit better. So, let's see. I don't even really know how I want to go about this video. So my wife's grandpa, what's up, John? Seems like the internet's working now. So I just found out that my wife's grandpa has some aggressive cancer in his neck, which kind of really sucks, you know, because I'll be honest, you know, he's probably my favorite family member on my wife's side of the family. So, no offense to anybody else in the family. You guys aren't chopped liver, but Grandpa A is probably my favorite on my wife's side. Him and Grandpa D probably. And that's mainly because, you know, they definitely were blue-collar workers like myself, you know. Grandpa D, he's a truck driver. And Grandpa A, he was a logger for a while until he got hit with a big log. And then he was, you know, partially paralyzed for a while, and then he ended up learning how to weld, and then he joined one of the welding unions or the sheet metal unions. He worked at Satsup's, which is this big nuclear plant over near Aberdeen. It never went active, from what I heard. They got it to like 95% complete, and then they just scrapped the whole thing and sold the reactors to Japan or something. It's kind of what he was telling me. But he worked there for a long time, and he was in the union, and you know, he was always, he has so many stories. And I'm definitely going to try and capture some of those stories within the next few weeks if I can. I might get a little emotional in this video. I'm going to do my best not to, though, because I know you guys don't want to see me crying and stuff. None of that wussy stuff here. It's just a very sensitive subject for me. But I was over his house the other day, and he was so insistent that I take, you know, some of his tools home. Might as well just be a wuss. Yeah. I'm gonna close that door a little bit, turn this light on. So I figured I'd show you guys some of the tools that he had me bring home, and just kind of wanted to show you, you know, some of the old stuff, you know, some of that stuff, some of the stuff I've gotten from my grandpa. So anyways, I'll just show you some of the stuff. Yeah, no problem, John. So these are a cutting torch and a welding torch that he had. And this is one of his welding helmets with a hard hat on it. I cleaned it up. It was so dusty and so dirty. Nobody ever, I mean, it's still really dirty inside. But that's after I wiped it down with brake clean and sanitized the whole thing. Like, it was so dirty. So, yeah, it was well used, to say the least. Here's another one that he made me bring home. That one doesn't have any welding lenses or anything in it. This one does. I'm going to end up using this one as my backup for when my normal welding helmet battery dies, which seems like it happens all the time. This one's got cheater lenses in it too, which I like. Mine has those also, but it's got a flip up, you know, some leather tape to the bottom of the helmet. Probably, you know, for doing overhead welding, you know, keep his neck from getting totally burnt to a crisp. So I took the liberty of cleaning these up. They were pretty bad. I mean, they hadn't been used probably in a while. He's 91, so I cleaned them up as best as I can. You know, probably not as best as I can, but I've done a pretty good job of cleaning them. You can see inside of the, you know, there, what it kind of looked like. It was, you know, this brass, it's hardly ever shiny like this. So I cleaned it up. You know, also got 2 super old school regulators. I definitely want to try them, but I'm nervous. Like, I don't know if there's gaskets or anything in these regulators. Maybe if an old timer watches this, you can tell me if there's gaskets inside of these or not. I'm assuming there is. And if there is, then it's probably not quite safe to use, because maybe they're really old. They're not like as flexible as they used to be. So, what's up, John? Just stuff my grandpa gave me. He made me take it, basically. Like, I told him, I said, Grandpa, I have all the tools I need, you know. Oh, nobody's going to use them. You need to have them, you know. He already knows nobody's going to use them except for me. So I think he was very happy that they went with somebody who's probably going to take care of them and use them, you know. So we got, this is a welding torch, which I've never used a welding torch. I watched a video earlier today because I'm going to learn how to do it. Just for the sake of being able to strike up a flame and do some welding. I think that'd be pretty slick. I also got the cutting torch. I've used one of those several times over here because my plasma cutter can't really, I don't have the electricity to use it. So, got those, got the welding helmet, got that. There's another welding. He had a lot of welding stuff because that's mainly what he did. Right, here's another welding. This is the one I'm probably going to use. Those two, I just kind of shined them up for decoration because they're matching. So I figured, yeah, we'll take those and make some crossbones with them. I might end up brazing them together. I'm not sure yet. One that was hooked up to his tanks. So I took this cutting tip off. I took everything apart, cleaned everything on the inside. These don't have any O-rings. They're just brass. They just go straight in. So I cleaned those up. This right here has a O-ring on it. I replaced it and it works. I lit it up. This is a Purox. Come on, focus. Oxyacetylene. The camera isn't going to really focus, but it's a Purox. That's what this one is. These two, they don't have a name on them. A nameplate. At least this one doesn't. Acetylene, oxygen. No nameplates on this. And this one's missing a screw right there. This one is a Airco. So I'm assuming this one's an Airco as well because they got the same. I mean, this looks kind of like the same pattern. So I'm guessing both of those are Aircos. But this could have just been an attachment that's separate from those, so I'm not 100% sure on that. And these regulators, what regulator is this? I can't read what that says. National Acetylene Oxygen. I can't read what that says. Apparatus. So that's one of them. And this one's a Smith. Smith welding equipment. These have got to be from the 50s or 60s, I'm assuming. I don't know how old they are, but I know they're old. So I got those. Got that. Let's see, here's some more welding tips. I just took the smallest one and put it on this because I'm gonna self-teach myself how to weld with oxyacetylene. So I put the smallest tip on there so I can learn how to do that. Here's another one of the torches he had just laying around. This one is a Rego. This one's kind of the ugliest one out of the bunch, to be honest. But it probably works just fine. And then, let's see, another tool I ended up getting from him. I really didn't get a whole bunch of tools from him because most of everything I already have. Yeah, I'd love to learn how to braze. I got these two pipe clamps. Those are pretty cool. So basically, this end threads to the pipe, and then this end moves. You just squeeze that, and it goes up and down. And then you just tighten it on, just like that. That's pretty cool. I didn't have any of those. And then Grandpa also made me take one of these high lift jacks, which I already have one. So I need another one. There's his two tanks, which, you know, they're just oxyacetylene tanks. Nothing cool, too crazy about those. He made me take these welding rods he has, 6013. I've never used 6013. It's AC/DC. So I'm going to try these out. I don't think I've ever used 6013, but that should be pretty fun. That's pretty much the majority, I think. He had a whole bunch of other little... Oh yeah, I did get these snatch blocks. Let me just grab one and show you. These are some pretty nice old style snatch blocks. I got 4 of them. They're 3-ton snatch blocks. They got a grease zerk in the middle. So you can pull this pin out and then put the cable on. I think he said he was using it to pull some trees out or something before. Yeah, not gonna happen. My wife would kill me, Josh. That bike was smoking cool though. So I got 4 of these bad boys. I'm definitely gonna end up using those. Don't grease your snatch on here. They roll great, so they probably already have grease on them. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I did get one other thing. Let's see. But it was more of a... I'm outside right now. That's why you can't see nothing. Let's see if I can find it. And I'll show you. Let's see, where'd I put that thing? I can't see anything out here. Let's see if I can turn my flashlight on. Can't turn on. Okay. Well, I guess I can't show you that. It's... Oh, here it is. I got it. It's an antique saw. I'm going to put it above the pump house door. They're easy to make, you know. It's just a piece of wood with a slice cut in it. But I think I'm just going to probably just hang it up the way it is. Nail that end and nail that end up on the above the pump house door. You know, to be up on the top, it'll look pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. I'm very thankful that my grandpa decided to, you know, pass those tools down to me, and hopefully I'll get some use out of them. And you know, definitely something cool to remember him by. You know, I got a few good memories with him. One of the memories I'll never forget. We went to Hell's Canyon. It's over near... One second, let me just plug this back in. We went over to Hell's Canyon. Oh yeah, and I got that welder that doesn't work. I'm going to fix that welder. It's a generator welder. It took a lot to get that flywheel off. I'm going to have to take it to a shop or something. Not Grandpa VANDUYN, but he is getting up there. My wife's grandpa, Grandpa Abraham, had some aggressive cancer. But anyways, one of the memories I got with him. Okay, I'll show you the welder since it's on topic. It's back here. He's 91. So, I mean, I don't want to say he's probably thankful, but, you know, he's lived a long, good life. He's been very blessed. So that's his welder that he gave me. It's a Lincoln. I got so much junk back here. So much stuff. So the problem I have with this is it's not producing spark. It's got compression, it's just not producing spark. So I ended up taking the flywheel off, and that was a nightmare to get off. Yes, this is an old school welder. Like this welder, you have to put the string on here, wind it up, and then pull it, and then put the string on again to do it. It's old school, no doubt about that. You know, I'm not 100% sure, Chris. I know the magneto, I'm going to do a live stream trying to fix this. Maybe I can get some old guys on the live stream and they can help me out. But there's some welding rods right there. Pile of truck parts. Yeah, that was Grandpa's too, that mask right there. Definitely going to use that for when I'm cutting. It's got a light tint to it. So let me get back to my story. get Matt from Diesel Creek. Is he like an old guy or something? Okay, so back to my story about Grandpa. We were going hunting, right? And before we left, we were taking Grandpa's quad. We were going way down. My father-in-law drew a tag, and so we're like, okay, let's bring Grandpa's quad. We may use it, you know. And Grandpa showed up with this trailer and his quad on it, and we were gonna hook it up to my Escape, and then we were gonna drive down to, you know, Clarkston or Lewiston. It's right down there. It's called Hell's Canyon, and I'm walking around the trailer. I'm like, Grandpa, those tires look kind of dry rot. No, they'll be fine. I've driven thousands of miles on those things. They're good. I'm like, I don't think so, Grandpa. He's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll be fine. I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. No sweat off my back, you know. And this was a long time ago. Okay, you gonna keep bugging me until I give you a treat? There you go. So we leave, and my father-in-law and his cousin are in their car, and me and Grandpa A are in my car, the Ford Escape. So they take off. We don't even really know where we're going, right? They didn't really even give me an address. They're like, oh, head to Clarkston or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you know. So we get over Vantage. You know, that's like 2 hours away from home. And we get through Vantage, go over the Columbia River, and we're like in the middle of nowhere. Completely in like this desert area. And next thing I know, I'm looking in my mirror and I see some plywood just fly off, like, and there's nobody in sight. And I'm like, oh no, something just happened, Grandpa. So we pull over, right? Put the four wheels on. We pull over. We hop out. And we start looking around. We can't see anything. I'm like, what the heck is how'd the plywood disappear? You know? And then I see the tire, and I'm like, oh no. Like, where the tread used to be, nothing but wires were showing. It was wires all the way around. The tread was all the way gone. All the way gone. And the tire started deflating. You could hear it. It was deflating. And so, Grandpa asked me, he's like, hey, well, I got a spare on the front. Grab your tools. I'm like, Grandpa, I don't carry tools in the Escape. It's a brand new car. Like, if something happens, I call my grandpa. I don't carry tools in this. Like, there's no need. It'd be a waste of space. What? You don't carry tools in your car? Like, he totally ripped me a new one for not having any tools. And then I was like, okay. Trying to think out of the box here. Get this tire off and get this spare tire on. And then we had the quad in the back, and I'm like, oh, I got quads. Every single quad has a little tool pouch, right, underneath the seat. So I'm like, Grandpa, let's check underneath the seat, see if there's a toolkit under the seat. So it took us about 10 minutes. Finally figured out how to unlatch the seat. Boom, toolkit in there. What do you know? The tool for the sockets, or the lug nuts, actually fit the lug nuts on the trailer. Like, how lucky could we have been? Like, unbelievably lucky, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, these tools, if we get the lug nuts off, I don't know how, it'll be a miracle with these tools. If we get them off, it'll be a complete miracle. So, we take the, you know, it's one of those funky sockets that just has, it's like a press socket. It's not a real socket. Let me see if I even have one. I can show you. I don't even think I have one in here. Oh, okay, I do have one. This is what it looks like. This isn't the one, but this is a similar, this is what it looks like. So then, I'm like, okay, this fits. Let's take the screwdriver, right? So, I know this ain't a screwdriver, but just bear with me here. We put the screwdriver in here, and I was able to break all of them loose. On the last one, the screwdriver broke. The screwdriver broke. We got it off, right? And then we had to get there was only one lug nut holding the spare on, and I stuck like the pliers in one of the holes and just, manhandled it loose. And we got it on there. But the spare was flat, right? So me and Grandpa were like, okay, what do we do? Like, we are in the middle of nowhere. I think it was a Saturday too. Like, it was, or a Sunday or something. It was one of those days where like hardly anybody was open. And we were literally 30 miles from anywhere. So me and Grandpa were like, okay. The other two, they were long gone. They were like 30 miles ahead of us. Because they just took off. Me and Grandpa, we were driving a little bit slower because we had the quad and the trailer. And I knew the trailer, I didn't want to just stress my car out. So we were going kind of slow. And so we just limped it basically 20 miles on a low tire. And like halfway there, the other tire, the tread came off of it. Right? So then we're like, oh man, this sucks. So we just kept limping it. We just drove real slow, like 10 miles an hour, and finally made it to this tire shop, right? And there was a Latino guy there. We were like, hey man, we need a tire and we need this one aired up, and he was like $300. And I was like, what? I started speaking to him in Spanish. Grandpa looked at me, he's like, I started speaking to him in Spanish, and I said, dude, that's a ripoff, bro. You gonna charge me $300 for that? Like, come on, I know you got something cheaper. I said this all in Spanish. And then he's like, okay, I got you covered, bro. You speak Spanish, that's cool. I'll give you a discount. So ended up getting out the door like $100 or something. It was crazy low. It was like $70 or $80 or something. Like, not even a third of what he wanted initially. And Grandpa will never forget that. That blew his mind. He's like, dude, you bartered with that guy. You got the price down. That was cool. He's like, I should have bought a second tire. And I'll just never forget that. That was one of my greatest experiences with Grandpa. Going down hunting, blowing the tires, getting them fixed, and then, my father-in-law kind of hung out with his cousin the whole time. They're, really, they got this bromance going on. They're buddies, super buddies. So it was basically just me and Grandpa chilling the whole time and them chilling the whole time, and I get along with Grandpa. I can spend all day, every day with that guy because me and him, birds of a feather, And so my father-in-law and his cousin, they were up on the top of this ridge hunting, right? And me and Grandpa, we had the normal tag, so we had to hunt on the opposite side of the street, right? And the rules were like, oh, it has to be like a buck, point or better, just these stupid rules. The side where they were hunting because they got the special tag, it was like anything was basically, right? But that's where all the monster bucks were, and and then me and Grandpa, we were over on our side hunting, right? We're just driving down the road, just chilling. He's like, when this happened, he was probably 85 years old. So we were just climbing the mountain or anything. We were driving down the road, right? Looking for a good spot to go, maybe walk up, onto the top of one hill, maybe, and check it out, see. There's so many deer there, like, it was unbelievable. Probably 100 deer we counted in the few days we were there. And so me and Grandpa, we see a buck, so we pull over, and we're like, I can't tell, is that a 3-point or a 4-point, trying to make sure it was within our rules. And we're like, I just can't see the other horns. I don't think so. You know, and it was like the only buck that we seen on our side. So that was like our only shot at getting a deer. And we break out the binoculars and we're like, I just can't see the extra horns, you know. We kept passing each other back the binoculars. And Grandpa's like, if it's within legal limit, I'm shooting it before you, you know. And I'm like, well, we'll see about that, Grandpa. You know, we're just going back and forth. And ended up just being like a 2-point or a spike or something like that. And we got so close to that thing, it was probably within 20 feet. Like, I could have threw a rock and knocked the deer out. That's how close we ended up getting to it. And, you know, it was just a really good experience with Grandpa. And, you know, he remembers that whole experience because he always talks to me about it. You know, it's always one of those, we reminisce. Every time I see him, we go back and talk about that. And, you know, he goes and talks about the days when he used to work at Satsup, and he said one of the white hats, that's what he called the white hats, like the manager type guy, you know. He said one of the white hats came up to me and said, hey, go weld on that, you know, go fix that. And he's like, I can't, that's red tagged, that's against the law. He says, I don't care, go weld on it. And Grandpa said he called up the union office, and he said, that guy was yelling at me, and you know, he said, he was trying to have me weld on that red tag. You know, and he's like, I want him fired. And, but before that, one of the workers was like, get him. And, anyways, when he was talking to the union guy, he's like, oh, you don't want to do that, Bill. You don't want to do that. I mean, let's not do that. And he was like, well, I want 3 days pay, you know, and I want to go work somewhere else or something, you know. And he got what he wanted. It was crazy. You know, Grandpa he always tells that story. He's like, that white hat started yelling at me, told me to do this. I told him no. He yelled and I yelled louder, you know. Oh, that was so funny, you know. That's just one of those stories Grandpa always, every time I'm with him, he always tells me that story. It gets better every time, you know. So, anyways, now that I've done talked about Grandpa as much as I can, you know, without him here, I'd like to get some of his stories on my camera. You know, so I'll probably see him as much as I can, you know. The doctor's giving him somewhere between 1 and 6 months, which I think is baloney, you know. He looks healthy. And I tell him that every time I see him. I say, Grandpa, those doctors, they don't know what they're talking about. They're making guesses. You know, you could live another 5 years if you want to. You know, if you got it in you, you got it in you. You know, doctors, they make guesses all the time, and they're wrong all the time. You know, but he seems to think, you know, that they might be onto something. But I don't see it. I think he's still got time in him. His mind is so sharp still. You know, he's all there. You know, you can carry on a conversation with him all day long. At 91 years old. Grandpa, if you watch this, I hope you live to at least be 91. So you got a few more years, so don't even think about checking out early. I guess I can go through and show you some of the tools that my grandpa has given me since, you know, he gives me a lot of tools. I mean, he picks them up at yard sales, so they're not as sentimental to me personally, because I mean some of them ain't. But I'll just go ahead and show you some of the stuff that I've gotten from my Grandpa Van Dyne. He gave me these 2 cabinets, which I've loved having them. He got them from a yard sale. Let's see. Nothing really in here. Maybe one of these screwdrivers probably came from him. I don't even. Let's see. I think got one socket in here from him. This came from him. This extension. This came from Grandpa VANDUYN, probably. Let's see. I know there's a lot of stuff in here that came from him. Like, probably this vice grip. Probably this pipe wrench. These Allens. This screwdriver came from Grandpa VANDUYN. It's one of those old school ones that, you know. I got most of these. It's a magician with small engines. I'll have to look it up, John. I'll look him up on YouTube and reach out to him. Maybe he might be able to help me. Grandpa and me went halfsies on this. Big impact. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, dude, yard sales, you get the best tools from yard sales. Half of these Grandpa gave me and half of them I've bought. I don't know which ones Grandpa's given me. Probably this one. This one looks like an old one. I bet Grandpa gave me this one. These other ones are pretty brand new. I probably bought most of those. Some of the big sockets I know he gave me. Some of them, like this is one of the sets I had that Grandpa gave me. I'll show you that. That's in this toolbox. Man, it is raining outside. This is a long extension. Most of these tools came from Grandpa, like 90% of them, probably. There is one wrench set, this Evo Craftsman set that you know, I bought these. Cool story. This box right here was my Grandpa VANDUYN's father's box, you know, and he put Allen wrenches in there. I don't know, he didn't know what was in it before. He didn't think it was Allen's, but this was great Grandpa VANDUYN's toolbox. One of them. He was a welder also. He worked for Kiwani Boiler Manufacturer in Illinois. Oh yeah, this Grandpa A gave this to me also. This is just one of those logger tape measures. It's a metal tape measure. Pretty cool. It's got this thing that, you know, just hooks onto the end of the log. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, Grandpa gave me this. This is one of those foot-pounds. This is one of my favorite ratchets. This was given to me by Grandpa. I actually ended up bending this. I don't remember what I bent it on, but I bent it. It's one of the best ratchets I've ever had in my life. SK, whatever that is. Whoever made this ratchet, this, yeah, Grandpa had a 30-foot tape measure too, but I didn't really need it. But this right here, one of my favorite ratchets, like, look how much it bent, and it didn't even break. Like, you try putting that amount of torque on this, or that, guaranteed those will break. This did not break. So, you know, Grandpa gave me these tools too. These are kind of interesting tools. Like, you turn this right here, and it ratchets. It's like a gear drive. Pretty cool. Let's see, what else did Grandpa give me? Oh yeah, I got this from Grandpa A too. This is just a hammer, a nice ball peen. I'll probably have to replace this wood. It feels, you know, well, so do those too, you know. This one I got from Grandpa VANDUYN, I know for sure. And this. Grandpa gave me the whole set of these. He used them for body work. Not that he did much, but he, you know. This hammerhead right here was from a hammer that my father gave me. One of the only things I ever got from my dad. And I ended up breaking the handle on it. I need to get a new handle. It used to be a nice waffle. I've used it so much. Like the waffle pattern's almost gone. It was almost brand new when he gave it to me. One of the only things I've ever gotten from my dad. This was also Grandpa A's slag hammer. This one, yard sale or something. This one was from my grandpa. This one, I probably bought it at a yard sale or something. Like 90% of these screwdrivers came from my grandpa and yard sales. Same with the tire irons, the breaker bar. I bought these and those screwdrivers. Most of these are just yard sale things. I've had them since I was like 10. Grandpa gave me a few of these C-clamps. A few of them I picked up. That one I ended up buying a tool. Most of these tools, actually, now that I think about it, came from Grandpa. That one came from Justin. Grandpa bought these. This heavy-duty one. He got a whole bunch of them. This one came from Grandpa also. But I know he didn't weld it. He picked it up at a yard sale. But it's just one of those. This is a lug nut. Or like a stud. Like the bolt for a semi-lug. Welded to a ratchet. Yeah, I gotta see too many tools like that. And I've used it. And it works great. I'm just gonna say. This is a cool tool. No extension needed. Grandpa VANDUYN also gave me this not this pipe wrench. I bought that one. He gave me this one. He got it from a yard sale. It's cracked right there. I'm gonna re-weld it probably with my new welder. I bought all that stuff, except for some of these old air tools that I've never used. I've used a few of them. All the other stuff I pretty much bought. Let's see. Some of these Grandpa gave me. Most of them I bought. Same here. I pretty much bought all that. Oh yeah, Grandpa gave me these too also. He had like 20 pipe wrenches this size. This was one of the only aluminum ones, so I snagged this one because, you know, aluminum pipe wrench, it's super light. Super lightweight, cool. Like this one weighs like easily 3 times heavier than this one. So, you know, not everybody has an aluminum pipe wrench. I'd like to get a massive pipe wrench like one of those that's aluminum, you know, because those are heavy. You know, this one's cool because it's flat. I got this from Grandpa. It's a flat pipe wrench. Basically works as a crescent wrench because it's got no teeth. Works really good for those big bolts. Same with this old one. This is an antique one. Got that one from Grandpa too. He probably picked it up at a yard sale. I bought a lot of these. A lot of them from yard sales. I bought these two for sure. And some of these I got for free from other people. I bought this one when I was doing the fiber optics. This is specifically designed for crunching those beans if you wreck one of those telephone wires. Don't ask me how I know. Got a lot of these from Grandpa. Bought a lot of them. All of those are from Grandpa. He picked them all up at yard sales, except for this. I bought this and this one. A lot of that came from Grandpa. All the newer stuff I bought. I bought all that. Let's see. All these files came from Grandpa. I don't think I bought a single one of those. All these came from Grandpa in yard sales. You know, just picking everything up at yard sales. He loves his yard sales. Actually, I probably bought a razor or something. I know I bought these. I bought this recently. This is a scraper tool. It's got extra razors in it. Just a whole bunch of old scrapers I picked up. Some of them came from Kinsey's dad's father when he passed away. Picked up some of those. Some of these screwdrivers are from him also. Grandpa K. Everything in there, I bought it. Angle grinders and that stuff. That came from Todd. His rental unit. Guy left it behind. That Kinsey bought that. Grandpa gave me that. Grandpa gave me that. I kept that one. You know, all the other tools back there, all the expensive tools I bought myself. Oh, snap. We got water intrusion here. We got water splashing everywhere in here. I'm going to have to dry that up. It started raining too heavy. We got a lot of tools back there. We got the vibrator, the plate whacker, the transit, the jumping jack. I already showed you the welder. That welder Kinsey bought me. You know, just some stuff back there. Just a lot of this stuff we've just picked up over the years, you know. It's just, you don't just, you just kind of accumulate it over time, unfortunately. That is way too much water. Just so you know, if you haven't guessed it, the rate. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. Ran good here today. Yeah, dude, we probably gotten between yesterday and today, probably 3 to 4 inches, I would think. I can tell you, it's been a lot. We've probably got between 3 to 4 inches of rain. I gotta dry this. Alright, I'm gonna catch you guys later. I gotta clean water. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.